Welcome to Whippoorwill Holler. I'm Miss Lori and this is Mr. Brown. We live in the hills of Arkansas. We love the Lord. Keepers of the old way, but accept some of the new. We love to cook and we love to eat. We love to garden. It's in our blood. It's how we stay sustainable and fill our pantry. We do a lot of canning and preserving. We live a sustainable life. We love our family. We work hard. And every once in a while, we like to dance. So y'all join us. I've had a request, well, several requests for banana cream pie. So, with it being summertime, and we try not to heat the kitchen as much as we have to, but my banana cream pie may be just a little bit different than some people's. But this banana cream pie is going to be the kind you put in the refrigerator. This is not going to be your hot banana cream pie with the meringue and stuff. Even though we love that comes around cold weather than it does hot weather. But this is your banana cream pie. What I like about it is it's semi-homemade. The pudding part is homemade. The whipped topping on top is going to be homemade. But the crust isn't. But you can make a homemade pie crust. But when I find these on sale, or even if they're not on sale, I always pick them up. At least I like to have 3 or 4 in the pantry at all times. When I'm needing to make something in a hurry on a weekend or something, and these are the best little lifesavers sometimes. But this is a chocolate crust, and it's not just a chocolate. This one is by Diamond, and it's a chocolate nut pie crust. It's got walnuts and pecans, and it says real cocoa in it. Now, I probably would have just picked up the plain old chocolate one, but they didn't have it, but they had this, and it just sounded so good, because they have like Oreo crust, and then they just have the chocolate, I think it's a honey made, and sometimes it's great value there at Walmart, and it's just a chocolate wafer crust, and they're really good. But this, I'm going to try this one, the chocolate nut pie crust. So this is what I'm using for my crust. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to make our pudding. And you're just going to be making just a regular vanilla pudding, really. Just like you were making homemade banana pudding. But what I like to do is I like to put about 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla and 1/2 teaspoon of banana extract in it. Is what I like to do. So we're going to start out with, I've got a cup of sugar and I got 1/2 cup of flour. And I'm just going to mix that up a little bit. And I've got 2 cups of milk. Now, if you use 1%, 2% skim milk, you can still make this pudding. It will still work. But this is whole milk, 2 cups. Put that back over my fire. And I'm going to let this come to a boil, just like this. And when it does start to heat up, I'm going to temper. I've got 2 egg yolks, and I'm going to temper my egg yolks. This is your basic vanilla pudding. That's all this is. Me and Mr. Brown love a hot banana pudding with the meringue on it. But this is going to be your icebox banana pudding with whipped cream on top. And we'll make that whipped cream here in just a little bit. You know, it's funny, I was getting my stuff together, because when I'm making a video, I don't like running all over the kitchen, but sometimes I have to. You just can't help it. But I at least like to have stuff up here, and half the time I forget something and have to go find it. But anyways, while I was doing that, Mr. Brown's not here, he's fishing. and I don't watch TV really. But I do watch, when I don't really watch it, I listen to it when I'm busy, because I'm always busy doing something. I can't hardly ever just sit down and watch anything. But here in the kitchen, I can see my TV. And I had YouTube on. And I'm getting stuff together. I'm washing dishes, just doing all that stuff that we do every day. And different YouTube channels coming on. I was listening to them, just having a good old time. Anyways, I had all my stuff together, and I went to turn the camera on, and I realized that the TV was still playing, and it was Tammy from Collar Valley Cooks. So I'm talking, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, Tammy's here with me. I better go turn that off. But anyways, it was funny because I had just totally forgot that the TV was on. But anyways, just know that a lot of y'all keep me company when I'm busy in the house doing stuff. So anyways, I had to turn the phone off and start over. I know people tell me that they'll say, Miss Lori, when I'm in the house busy, or if I'm feeling lonely or down, you know, I'll turn your video on where I can listen to you and Mr. Brown. And you don't know how that just fills my heart, and fills Mr. Brown's heart too. It does. It humbles us so, so much. So I'm going to try to let this warm up without me having to turn the camera off and come back. A lot of times Mr. Brown's here with me. He can help me, you know, do the camera and stuff. But when he's not, it's just a little bit more difficult. But all I want to do is I just want to get that hot enough to temper my eggs a little bit. I got 2 egg yolks. And I always like to be careful, so I'm just going to take a tablespoon at a time. And I'm just going to temper them because my milk is kind of got little bubbles around the edge. It's not coming to a full boil yet. So just temper your eggs like this. That should be good. Now I'm going to stir this, and I'm going to add my tempered egg yolks. And of course your egg yolks is what's going to give it that pretty yellow color. So I'm going to keep stirring this, and it's starting to thicken up already. I'll turn it down just a little bit. And keep stirring because you don't want this to scorch. I love icebox pies, especially in the summertime. They're just, to me, when it's so hot, it's just refreshing to get something out of the fridge that's cold, and that cold whipped topping, it's just good. Good stuff. So this is starting to thicken up and look really good. I'm going to keep stirring it, and I want it to really thicken up, so I'm going to keep, I've got the burner on as low as it'll go. So just keep stirring it. Now when this gets to the thickness that I want, I'll turn it off and we'll add everything else. And that's another good thing about having these kind of pie crust, is you're not having to mess with making a pie crust and putting it in the oven and all that stuff. There's just little things like that that helps us out. I know a lot of people are they're kind of scared about tempering eggs. They're always afraid they're going to mess it up. But y'all seen me how I've done it, and it's not that hard. You just, once you do it once or twice, you'll see that it's okay. Okay, it's getting pretty thick. And of course, once we let it cool and put it in the refrigerator, it's going to thicken up even more. So I think it's about there. Now I'm going to add, let's see, half a teaspoon of vanilla. And since this is banana cream pie, we're going to put a half a teaspoon of banana extract in it. Might just put a little bit more. Almost a teaspoon, not quite. I'm going to stir that up. And I can smell that banana extract. So you know this banana cream pie just by what it smells. Okay. Last but not least, I'm going to put a good teaspoon of butter in it. Let's put another one in it for good measure there. And stir that up. So that's our pudding. And like I always say, it was about that easy. So I'm going to put this to the side and I'm going to let it cool off. And then we're going to make our whipped topping. Okay guys, y'all seen me do this before. We're making whipped topping. And I'm just doing a cup of heavy cream. If y'all want a really thick heavy whipped topping on top, do about 2 cups. But I'm just doing 1. And I've got my bowl here, my stainless steel bowl that I use to whip whipping cream with. And I put it in the freezer. So I always put my bowl and my beaters in the freezer and let them be at least 30 minutes before I do this. So let's make our whipped topping. It's still kind of running, so we're not to that point yet. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a couple tablespoons of powdered sugar. Now, what I use and what you might want in your whipped topping, you might like it a little bit sweeter. I'm going to put about 3 tablespoons. You can taste it as you go and see if it needs a little more. I'm going to put about a teaspoon of vanilla. And now we're going to go back to beating this stuff. Okay, you don't want to beat it too much because you'll have butter. That's easily done. So now we got our whipped topping, and we'll get our pie together now. So now that our pudding has cooled off, we are going to put our pie together. And how many bananas it takes is just however many you want, really. It's not a have to that you use 3 or 4 or whatever. You just use as many as you want. Because what we're going to do is we're just going to cut them up. I don't like my bananas green. I just don't like the taste of a green banana, but I do know a lot of people that like their bananas green. And if you do this while your bananas are green, they're not going to turn black as soon as if they were. So this is about how I like it, and that's just, it's because they get sweeter. But what you can do is cut your bananas up and put a little lemon juice, or you could do like we used to do at school, and we'd go to the, because back then you had a candy store and kids could go get drinks and stuff from the candy store, and we would go get a Sprite, and we would soak our apples and our bananas in, in Sprite, and it kind of kept it from turning brown so easy. So I'm going to end up probably using 3. My kids really love banana pudding, and they're going to love this banana pie too. So you can see how thick I've got that in there, the bottom of that crust. Now I'm just going to take my pudding, and you can see how it got banana string on me. You can see how it has set up. Well, it won't come off. So it's going to make a good pie. Let's dollop that on there. And you know what? If I don't leave a little bit in this pan for Mr. Brown to taste, so y'all don't get on to me for not cleaning my pan out, because he's like a little kid. He likes to get the leftovers. So just spread your pudding around to the edge. And you know, this made enough. I probably could have made 2 pies out of this, actually, the way it looks. I haven't made a banana cream pie in a long time. I usually just make banana pudding. So, it's been a while. Kind of get it off the edges there, because I got to put the top on. Yep, I'll leave that for Mr. Brown. Okay, now we're going to put our good old whipped topping on. And to me, this is just what puts it over the top, is homemade whipped topping. Cool Whip does not even compare, even though I do use Cool Whip for some things, just because sometimes it's easier, and there's a lot of things that I make with it because Cool Whip is stabilized. It won't separate or anything like a homemade whipped cream will, but I can tell you it won't matter, because this won't last long enough for it to. Just spread it around as best you can. I have a feeling that the lid that went with this crust is not going to fit this pie. But that's okay, because I've got a thing to hold pies, put in the refrigerator. Now this is not as pretty as a banana cream pie with meringue on it, but it's going to taste really good. I promise you. That chocolate crust, it's going to be good. So there is my banana cream pie. So I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for just a little bit, and then we'll cut it and we'll taste it. I have to tell y'all, this pie is larapin. So y'all come back and see us, guys. We love y'all, and God bless.